Hey there, and welcome to the channel. So in today's video, I'm going to basically build out this comments block for the So today's video, I'm going to be working on the Crosswinds Blocks plugin, and more specifically, I'm going to be adding a comments number block. This is something that I think might be coming down the pipe in Gutenberg, but I think it's still technically experimental. So we'll see when that comes out. It's something that's missing. And really also, especially for a stream like this or a video like this, it's a great block to really show you, how to create a block. It's a little bit more advanced than those basic tutorials, but as you'll see, it's not super advanced that you should get lost. You really should be able to hopefully tell what's going on, and I'll explain as I go. So this will be a fun little test to see how this works, see how this video type works, and hopefully you'll learn how to create blocks with WordPress. So with that out of the way, let's first dive in. Okay, so the first thing that I need to do is I need to create the folder for the block inside the Blocks plugin. So that, and then I'm going to take, I have a copyright block that is pretty much similar to what we're going to be using. So I'm just going to copy all of that, find here, and I'm just going to paste it in, and then we'll just change things as needed. All right, so the first thing is we need to just change the name. All right, like so. And then we'll just keep all this. And then for attributes, we're actually going to change. Let's see. So this attribute will be for if there's one comment, what's the text after the number? So that's the singular comment, and then we'll do a plural comment text. And for right now, I'm leaving these both as blank, and I'll explain it more in detail. Okay, I'm in the wrong one. All right, so the first thing we need to do is come in here and change the name. All right, and then we're going to keep a lot of this. If we come down here, we're going to add a couple attributes. The first one, singular comment text. This will be the text that's displayed after the number if it's one, if there's one comment. Because it'd be odd to say one comments. And then we'll do the same for plural. And I'm leaving these blank for now. I'll explain it in more detail later, but basically this is to help with the internationalization and translations for if anybody's using this plugin and block in a language other than English, which is really helpful. It's really something, as a developer, you really should be thinking about as much as you can. All right, so we have that. Now we are going to need to use context for a few things. All right, come in here, we're going to add in post ID as context, and this will be so that we can get the ID of the post that's coming in the editor, so that we can use that to get the number of comments from the database. We hit save with that, and everything else looks pretty good. All right, so now we're going to jump into the edit.js file for this. We are going to change the attributes we are pulling in. And we're going to get rid of as much of this as we can, because we're not going to use the select control. All right, and then we will need to make sure that we can get our context. And then we'll use useState, which is something that if you don't know React, you really should take some time to learn React really before you get into blocks. That's helped me a whole lot, just sort of taking that and learning React especially from like a non-WordPress point of view, and then it actually has made me a better developer. Except I can't paste things in the right spot, so that's fun. All right, so we should be good to go on that front. And let's see, we are going to just add in our text control for the singular comment text and the plural comment text. So this, if you don't know, will change it. It will change the value for singular comment text when we make any sort of change to the value. And then basically we're just going to copy and try to paste. And we're going to make sure we don't double up text. Like that. We're going to make sure we spell things correctly. Technically a journalism major with a journalism degree, I always spell things wrong because, that's what happens. All right. Okay, so the next thing is, what should we do? I think we're going to try and get our comments count. So for that, we're going to use WordPress core data, and I'm just going to try and find. So this is one good thing about having like a whole block library that I've created, is that I can just go somewhere and basically pick code that I've already written, so I don't have to worry about doing it all over again. It's kind of fun. So let's grab this function. We're going to put it up over here. All right. So we're not going to need options. This is going to be and then post should be post ID, like so. And then we should, all right. Okay, the thing I need to remember is how you're looking at live coverage of me. All right, we're gonna remember how to count objects or items in an array. So, if you're like a new developer, trust me, you won't commit any of this to memory. You will Google things all of the time. Okay, that's not the one I want. I want items in an array. How about that? That might help. Okay, none of this is helpful. I just get the number. That's all okay. Just want to make sure. Okay. It's dot length. Okay. Good to know. So we want to return post dot length. Okay, I think that should work. Okay, so So now we should be able to use comments count, and for that, oh yeah, the other thing I was going to say is, actually, so you have the comments count. We can apply that. Actually, we're going to do a few other things. Enter. I think that should be a let. It's definitely not a contact. All right. If 1 equals count, then we'll do that. Then inner text will equal comment count and our singular comment, like so. Oh, right. PHP developer tries to do React. Whoops. Anyway, and then do the same thing there, like so. So that should take care of the inner text. And now all we need to do is we're going to set, we're going to come back to what I mentioned before with why I have this like so. And the reason, again, is the internationalization, which you can see here. You can't use this in block.json. At least last time I checked, you couldn't be able to do that. If it hasn't, or if it has changed, and any of you amazing WordPress people know that, please leave it down in the comment section below. That would be a massive, massive help. Anyway, what I want to do here is since these are, by default when we create the block, it should be empty strings. We want to check if they are empty strings, then we're going to add in our translated strings, default strings. So I'm going to come in here. We're going to just do a simple if. And I know Yoda, I'm better off with Yoda conditionals. So, you're just going to have to deal with it. And if that, then it should be, let's do a set attribute and not that many. Should be, and then we will replace value, get that, with and then we will do similar with like so. And now this is I've done this before. I realize I have not started sort of the build process, but we're going to come down to our terminal. We're going to cd into blocks. We're going to run npm start. Okay, that's starting. So that's good. And then we also need to load in the block itself, actually. And for that, come all the way into here. And this is roughly the same type. Let's see. Comments. Number. All right. And then for this, all we really need to do is just add in this template thing. And grab the function name we just created. Like so. And then we should be able to go into a test site I've got set up with query loop and hit refresh. All right, and then underneath here, we should hopefully not sure why the title is incorrect, but for now we'll get back to this. We just wanted to see if this is going to work. And well, it's displaying correctly, but pretty sure Hello World has a comment, so that's a problem. Actually, let me double check, because I have been wrong before. Hello World, yes, Hello World has one comment. So let's see if there's anything in our inspector that's giving us an error of any kind. Nope. Okay, so let's console.log some things. We're gonna try some debugging. So first off, I want to see what we're getting. Well, first off, this will help us see if we're getting anything out of that. So go back here. We do want to update. Okay, we're getting a null apparently. Yep, we are getting null, which is interesting. Okay. So we're gonna go back here and I'm gonna Okay, so I've done a little bit of research off camera. I believe this should actually be comment. So we're going to try that. And we're going to come back in here. We're going to reload the page. No, we are still getting null somehow. That's not ideal. Let's see if we cut. This is not going how I thought it was going to go. Let me double check. Well, what was I doing down here? Okay. Okay, let's try. Okay, the first thing I want to make sure is that terminology works. Okay, so that works. And post ID for that is 1. So then we're going to come in here. So I want to make sure this is the right terminology that I'm supposed to be using. So post. Okay, that. That should. Why does that return null? So it's got to be basically a string. Okay, so that makes sense. So I'm curious. All right, so now I'm curious if we do. What type is post ID? You're looking live at me trying to debug an issue, which might be helpful for you, might not. Okay. Okay, so let's try and wrap. And again. Okay, let's give this a shot. Okay, just to check. I'm not trying to edit comment though. Okay, so that's not what's the issue then. Let me check. Okay, that's there. We're gonna try something else. So we're gonna comment this out, and then okay, so what I'm basically doing right now is we're gonna try something else. We're going to do that. And let's see if this then will work for us. This is always fun. 61. There we go. That worked. Okay, so the issue was. Okay, so the issue was, this is making like a REST API call, and that takes time to. Obviously, that takes time to run and get back the data we need. And so while that happens, the rest of this code went quickly. And this was taken from another block that I'll go into more detail later because it's a really interesting use case. But the problem was that this code works for that situation, but it doesn't work for this one. And so just for here, we run it just sort of outside of a function, basically. And then we have a check here to see if it's null, because then we get 0. And then when this actually does return, then this all sort of updates again. And that's how that side of it works. So now we've got it. Now we got it correct. There's one comment here. We can come in here. Yeah. You can see we changed that there. Plural text. You can change it there. And we're going to hit update. Okay, so now the next thing we need to do is display that in the front end. So we're going to come in here to the template.php. See, we don't need any of this. And how are we going to make... So first off, we need the number of comments. All right, so all right. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we get the comment count and we pass in the post ID for the context. And then if 1 equals num comments, and we'll leave that blank for the moment. And then else, we'll come back and fill those in. And then basically what from here, run it through this sanitation function, which is another video really in of itself. Here. All right. Now, just do attributes. And then we go back here, we get singular comment text, like so. Oh, right, you don't like that. And then, this is plural. All right, so that's all saved. Now we'll go view this on the front end. Okay. Okay, so I forgot, or I didn't realize num comments actually gets you an array of different things. So we need to just add that in there for the approved comments, like so. And then we should be able to go back in here. And why? That should be okay. Something weird with the query block. Like so. Because that was inheriting, but it was working. And there we go. One comment, no comments. Now, I'll go in before this is merged in with the next version of Crosswinds blocks. I'll go in, prettyify it, fix a few things, namely being the block title for some reason. Actually, we'll just go and do that right now while I'm thinking about it. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, that's basically sort of how you build a block, how you build a semi-complicated block. The complication being we're using useContext as well as the get entities record. And if you haven't explored that before, I'll leave links down in the description below where you can learn more about that. That's really cool. It's something that it's one of those things that hasn't really been talked a whole lot about in WordPress development. It's gone under the radar, but like once you get into that world, it really opens up what you can do with blocks. As I'll cover when I go over different blocks that I've already built for the Crosswinds blocks plugin. But yeah, that's basically it for today. If you really enjoyed it, be sure to tell me about it in the comments, whether you like this type of stuff, don't like it, whatever. I'm really just trying to find my footing on what to really do here on YouTube. And if you really want to learn more about block development like this, other WordPress development, block theme development, be talking about how I build the Crosswinds framework here over time, or if you want to learn more about web development, all that, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button and to ring the bell for notifications. But as far as today, that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.